Hello, greetings. This is Gilles Mancion. I wanted to wish you a good day. We're moving towards this full moon in Leo. So it's going to be a very powerful time in a few days to towards the weekend with to be creative, to utilize your passion. So whatever creativity you like, it is a good moment to get it to the next level. And then Venus is still in Pisces with Neptune, so to integrate the divine and the Earth's love. And then she's going to be moving out of Pisces and meet Chiron in the sky in Aries. And so we're going to be able to heal certain of the wounds and move on to the next level. I wanted to discuss a few ideas. The first one is that we live in a great galaxy. We do not know much about it, for this galaxy is populated with billions and billions of civilization that we have no clue about. For we live in this aquarium in quarantine, as if we believe we are the highest creation of the universe. And but in essence, what we want to say is that it is a great spiral. This is a spiral galaxy, and the civilizations that are closer to the center are far older than we are. But they also they were created with much more pure of the divine light. And the farther out we go in the spiral, the more dense and heavy the energy are. So that doesn't mean that our star clouds of Nebadon is like Archangel Michael said, is not like a fallen universe, but it's a universe that has been there's been 3 rebellions within our universe, and it's been the galactic wars, and so it is a very challenging place that we chose to integrate in order to participate in this great adventure. Eventually, we're going to be opening the doors and begin to communicate with our star neighbors, and we'll be able to be assisted in this evolution process towards the galactic consciousness and becoming a star nation. But first, we need to make peace among ourselves and to get the respect, to understand the respect of each other, the respect of ourselves, the respect of the planet. For humanity, is just becoming aware that it has the power to destroy the planet. If we destroyed completely the environment, what are we going to do? Even if we had space technology that we could go and move to the moon, it's not the environment on the moon is not as nice as it is here. So we want to preserve this environment, and humanity is considered to be the lowest life form that lives on the earth. There is a lot of invisible kingdom, but even the animals and the plants are incapable of destroying the planet. They live in harmony with the planet. All of that is not the people's responsibility. We all have to become responsible and to become more conscious and balanced, but it is the greed and the selfishness of certain groups, of certain corporations, of certain government that are actually responsible for the wars and the pollution and all those things. So do not go into the catastrophism that is projected. What we need to understand is the earth is not just a thing, it's not a rock that needs to be consumed. It is a real being, and the physical manifestation of the planet is the physical body, but we're not a physical body, just as the earth is not just a sphere of matter that revolve around the sun. It is a spiritual being, and if humanity does not come in realization of that and resist that understanding, that respect, the earth will have no choice but to react in a way that shakes up the certain that shakes up the world until we come to this respect. So it is about being aligned with what is acceptable for us, and not to necessarily to say, well, if you have to take a plane, take a plane. You're not going to pollute more. If you're loving inside the plane, you pollute less than somebody who's walking in hatred and sending bad vibes around the environment. It's all about emotion and vibration. So the higher the vibration, the more we contribute to the healing of the planet. Those are just ideas, point of views, and I don't mean to judge anyone or to express discontent, although some days are really difficult. Like today, I felt like when I woke up in the morning, I felt like I received a hammer on my head, and it was like, what am I doing here? I have nothing to do here. I finished my mission. It's like, because sometimes I feel like I love the world, I love the art world, but this art world is not really reciprocating this love. I've been painting for 30 years, and I still can't live from my work. It's like I work work 12 hours a day, but I don't get paid, or there's no support, nothing. It's like they don't really like me in the art world. It's like my work is not accepted. For the Spirit says there is a possibility, it will happen, the doors will open. They've been telling me that for 10 years. So every morning I say thank you for the doors opening. At the end I say, well, I'm sorry, I apologize, I could not feel that opening of the door, but since it's been going on every day for 10 years, I'm no longer expecting anything. Sometimes I feel like I've done my work and now I'm going to leave my art behind and go back home. But in a sense, I don't mean to say I'm appreciative of your support. I also wanted to thank all those who sent me donations, also those who contracted readings or bought some of my art. So it's always appreciated, because I know eventually my art will be worth quite a lot of money, when maybe I have to wait till I'm gone to live, to make a good living, to be recognized as an artist. But I hope I will not finish like Mark Roscoe, the great spiritualist, because he was a great artist, American artist. His painting looks abstract, but they're not abstract. They are a mirror for introspection. And I think the cause of his suicide was because people were considering his art as object of just pure abstract object, when he saw his art as temples of spirituality. And so I'm not in his head, but for there is a lot of we have to see behind the form in art, to see the frequency and the energy that the art gives out. I'm gonna pull a few cards. Did I pull a few cards already? I'm not sure. I'm gonna do it. And I want to say talking about the I Am presence. We have this spirit, this divinity within us, that's pre-personal spirit that holds the spirit of God. And those spirits are so magnificent. Sometimes I feel like, wow, it's like my I Am spirit is all, no matter what happened, no matter what my mind is, since I have an open line of communication with my I Am presence, it's like always keeping me in the joy, in the abundance, in the path of destiny, of the highest potential, keep me hoped. And if it wasn't there, I probably wouldn't be here still, because it really kept me alive in some sense. And this I Am presence is supreme, ultimate, and absolute. It's got all the potential. It's a great minister from paradise that God sent, but this presence, we are not born with it. It comes into our life between the age of 3 and 4. When a child is between 3 and 4, it's when the I Am presence arrives at the time of the first moral decisions. If a child is not capable of making a moral decision, and God sees that throughout the whole life, the soul will not be able to recognize God or have any kind of moral codes, the I Am presence, as far as I know, God does not waste his time sending an I Am presence with somebody who's incapable of recognizing God or even making a moral choice. But we all have that for the most part. For everybody has some kind of moral, more or less. Some people feel like they don't have that much of a moral core. For in essence, we want to discover ethics. Ethics is the moral applied to the world. It's the respecting the world exactly as you would respect yourself. And so, because we are the love we seek, and we have been given free will to choose love, no matter what happens, and it's not easy. It's something we practice each and every day. For God is ascending as we ascend. For God, there is many aspects of God. There is this eternal, infinite, immutable part of God that will never change. It is the source. It is all. It is the past, the present, the future of all dimensions, the source and destiny of all things and all beings, and that does never change. It is still, it is immutable, it is absolute, it is infinite. But there is also this part of God, when God created the universe, that is bound to realize the Father is about the beingness. To realize the Supreme is about doing the right action, because we live in a magnetic universe. What we give out is what we receive. And so as we integrate the values of the Supreme, what is true, what is beautiful, and what is good, and we elevate ourselves, we contribute to the power personalization of the Supreme. Once the whole universe, the grand universe, will have attained the sphere of light and life, the Supreme will emerge from paradise, something that has been forecasted, but it's a long future. But we do not need, since we have this I am presence, which is already supreme, ultimate, and absolute. We do not need for the world to catch up with that. We can already align within ourselves. Once we have realized the supreme, we'll move towards transcendental understanding, the ultimate. I've been also exploring a bit of that book. That eventually we'll try to come face to face with the ultimate, with the absolute. But that's quite inconceivable, which is timeless, spaceless, without beginning, without end. Yet there are deified beings that have achieved that. And so we participate in the ascension of the Supreme, with everything we do, and that's why there is great meaning in that. For action and paradise is not necessary. The beingness of I don't know that much about paradise. Have been revealed so many things, but not until you know everything. You don't. It's like you don't know that much. And it is the biggest place in the whole universe of universes. It's so rich that we have no clue that this home of God is so rich. There's so much there that's completely undisclosed in the universe. And as we ascend into the first, all the celestial realm, they're all paradisical in nature. They're eternal. Now in nature, they call architectural spheres, the heavens and the heavens of heavens, and they ascend in frequency through the universe and the super universe, the central universe, until we achieve paradise, which is the center of centers, the glorious home of God. It is both a physical home and a spiritual abode. It is our origin and destiny, and so it's good to always try to seek to turn our thoughts towards that center. If you always turn your thoughts to God at the center of all things, it's in the northwest. No matter where we go, it is always in the northwest. But it is how it's perceived. For the I am presence is the regulator of all that is. So all the truth that I know is actually the truth that has been revealed to me by my I am presence, by my guides, by the ascended masters, the angels, the archangels. They can come from outside as messages, but they have to be confirmed and accepted from within in order to anchor the energy. And so in essence, as part of my mission here is to remind humanity of their divine origin, that they are divine beings of love and light, that they are source creator beings. And so because we have forgotten that when we came here. And so also I would say that the more we are able to share, the more we are able to receive. The more we give out light, the more we are able to receive. It is just the way it works. So it's good to continue to communicate on those levels, yet to calibrate, to become concord and harmony, to see the frequency level of the people. That sometimes it's good to push the limits of what people can think or believe, but it's still good. It's no use to try to bring something very advanced to someone. You have to adapt to the level of the people you are communicating to. Here I'm talking about very general way, yet it's quite it's very fine pointed, and so it is good to we'll develop more sense of not just intuition but clairvoyance, to be able to be always in a receptive mode in order to receive the guidance. For the guidance is always perfect. If we fail on any ways, it's never because of our guides or it's not because the guidance was wrong or because the I am presence is not the right minister. It's always our individual will that is being distracted. I'm going to pull a few cards. Exciting. So the past is the lesson and good deeds. Very exciting. The present is the Father. I'm always I always think about my Father because my Father in heaven, because I know that. And I know it's always there, but I don't want to. So it's about reconnecting. See, it's about taking the hands of God and allow God to lead your life. Once we have enough submission to that inner presence, for that I am presence, will show you things and ways to do things that are completely beyond the ability of traditional human beings. And the future is Amerindian. It is about the home, about living in harmony with nature, the power of the circle, the power of for the American Indians, a very simple life, and living in a teepee is very enjoyable. I've lived in a teepee in New Mexico. I had a friend who had a ranch, but sometimes his ranch was full, so I would stay in the teepee. It's quite enjoyable to live in a circle. What we're working on is love life. And the outcome is Asia. Here we have the Buddha, the serenity and lucidity of the Buddha, and it's also the Asian soul is a gentle soul. We may talk about the trip to Asia, but it's also about tuning into this frequency of the Buddha. For I'm an artist that's really engaged in societal, and not just in the spiritual way, mainly. I'm very engaged. I'm not an image maker. I'm not just an artisan that works with my hand in creating images. For it is like Da Vinci was saying also, it's not a manual work. It is a very intellectual work. He believed that art was the highest of all science because it is the most. It's what will carry the most information through times. As we know that the science of the Renaissance doesn't mean much, but the art of the Renaissance was still in admiration in relationship to the art of the Renaissance. And the same thing, the science of today in 200 years or 300 years will be completely meaningless because we'll have discovered new science, yet the art that had value in this time will still be contemplated in the future. Also wanted to say, because there was this thing in France about blasphemy. For blasphemy, this person on the media that created blasphemy, and she received a lot of bad energy because she was like criticizing Islam. For Islam is submission. It is the will of God. It is the true Muslims are really. Those who walk in the path of Allah are loving beings. They work in society. They're working towards human brotherhood. All those who are in violence are not really working there. They're motivated by darker forces. But in a sense, what I wanted to say is that no blasphemy can ever touch God. For God, as the Lord of truth, is beyond any judgment, beyond any. It cannot be touched. It cannot hurt God, no matter what we say. So when somebody is creating blasphemy, it will only mirror as a reflection that will only hurt the soul that is doing this blasphemy. Yet there is this understanding that the truth by God. God explains that about that is that there was a Bodhisattva, which is a Buddha that remained on the planet in order to teach compassion, and so he was working with his disciple, and he was saying one day he said, God is a pile of excrement, a pile of garbage. And so everybody was like, oh, it's a blasphemy. But God explains that for the Bodhisattva, he recognized that even in the pile of garbage, God was there. So he said, in a sense, this what could be perceived as blasphemy to the non-initiated, God saw that as the greatest honor to see that, because it was part of the truth to expand the consciousness of people that God is everywhere in all things. And so you say, once you're into the light, there is no more. Your life is based on truth. You can no longer be in blasphemy. You can express the truth. The truth will always set us free, and God knows the truth. And so it is really of course we're very interested on what other people think in order to be adaptable in society. But at the end, what counts is what your inner self, what your divine self. Is your alignment with the divine self, what your relationship to God is primer in all things, and it's really what counts the most. Also, I want to say that true knowledge can only be attained through meditation. Of course, it can come through book, it can come through revelation, messages, but after it's about how we integrate that, how we are able to utilize this information. It always comes from within, and we have to seek out to do a routine of meditation in order to allow the consciousness. For I know what I know, it was taught to me by my Creator, by my I Am Presence, by my guides, by the Ascended Masters, the Archangels, but it all come from. For there is superficial knowledge that we learn in school, that's practical, but spiritual knowledge comes from inner revelation. So pay attention to the signs, pay attention to your intuition, pay attention to your dreams, pay attention to all that, because that leads to the connection that will give you, that will allow us to receive more and more as time goes by. Well, I hope this message was interesting for you. I'm not really in the best for the soul doesn't have doesn't have moods, and the soul is business. It wants to. We have to learn certain things, and the soul will do what it takes to fulfill that plan. And so, but there are some days that are more difficult than others. This painting here is called A Woman in Yellow. It was an Asian woman that was a model from 2006. I really like it. It's got good dynamism. And this is a self-portrait it's a bit humoristic. It's about as a Salvator Mundi it's got the position of it's like more like a Buddha. So the painting of Da Vinci is about the Christ, but so it's about a self-portrait as a Salvator Mundi, the savior of the world. For we are all here to save ourselves. As we save ourselves, the world is saved with us. Huh? And so there's the inner Christ, the collective Christ that is coming up through us. And so this is an astrological self-portrait. I really like that. It's got very, very powerful eyes when I look at it. Sometimes I feel like Sisyphus was someone who was sent to hell, and he's like pushing a rock on top of a hill. His mission was to put this rock on top of the hill. But as soon as he gets on top of the hill, the rock would go down, and so he would keep repeating, pushing the rock and pushing the rock and pushing the rock. And so I hope this cycle will soon end. I'm gonna put one more card, sing a song, and it's a song. Once I was feeling a little song. I felt like singing it today, so it goes like this. It's a lot of people sing that song. It's called The House of the Rising Sun. There is a house in New Orleans they call the Rising Sun, and it's been the ruins of many a poor boy, and God, I know I'm one. My mother was a tailor. She sewed my new blue jeans. My father was a gambling man down in New Orleans. Now the only thing a gambler needs is a suitcase and a trunk, and the only time he is satisfied is when he's all drunk. Oh, mother, tell your children not to do what I have done, to spend your life in sin and misery in the house of the rising sun. I got one foot on the platform, the other on the train, and I'm going back to New Orleans to wear that ball and chain. There is a house in New Orleans they call the Rising Sun, and it's been the ruins of many a poor boy, and me, I know I'm one. Great song. Well, I wasn't feeling so much optimistic today, so I felt the song that was a little on the downside to match my mood. Hopefully today I'm starting to feel better. So let's see one more card of the day. It is the card of the light. So the light is coming, more light is coming. This month will bring great change, but it is always darkest right before the dawn, and sometimes we feel like it's about being kind to ourselves when we feel down, and to allow ourselves to pass through the currents and the cold currents and the storm, and for Friedrich Nietzsche, I'm not a very Nietzschean person, but he said everything that does not kill us makes us stronger. So we have to understand, accept the fact that all the things that happens to us is actually contributing to our evolution and the development of our character. Well, I hope you find this message interesting. I thank you for everything. I wish you a wonderful day, and I'll talk to you later. Namaste.